Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for a brand new video. Today, it's Chelsea versus Fulham in the Premier League, which I'm not going to sit here and give you my usual spiel that this is the biggest game of the season, because that happens again on Wednesday night when we face Real Madrid. However, in the grander scheme of everything, this match is still pretty bloody big. Chelsea have got a little bit of a lifeline to try and finish third after Leicester City were held against 10-man Southampton last night. It's kind of like a typical end of the season result for Leicester that we saw last season, where one bad result was kind of the catalyst for a few bad results, and then they ended up falling out of the top four. So Chelsea need to capitalise on that result last night. Leicester still got a point. We're 5 points behind them. Win this game, and we've still got to play them on the second to last day of the season, so that could well be another cup final for Chelsea in itself. Before I get into building my team, if you are not yet subscribed to GBFC, I'd love to ask you to subscribe, and if you haven't checked out GBFC Selects, the link is in the description. You can sign up, answer 10 simple questions. It's my web app, and if you get the most points out of everybody, you win £1,000 in cash. So it's pretty straightforward. Link down below, 18+ terms and conditions apply. But Fulham, let's talk about our opposition for a moment. The match we played earlier this season where Mason Mount scored the winner, and was it a winner or did we draw the game? I think we might have drew the game. I actually can't remember. You know, I usually do a bit of research before these videos, but I'm just going to roll with this one today. All I remember from that game is that Mason Mount scored a goal, but the Chelsea performance was pretty woeful. It was back in January when we were really struggling, and Fulham, they still have a slight chance of staying in the Premier League. However, it looks as though whatever they're going to do to stay up, it might just all be a little bit too late and in vain. Chelsea are at Stamford Bridge here. We must be winning this game. Although we had a tricky match on Tuesday night in Spain, and then we've got the biggest game in I don't know flipping how long on Wednesday night coming up, I think Tuchel's going to make some changes. The press conference was very interesting. He talked a bit about Billy Gilmour, and we will talk about him in a moment. Rudiger's also out. Kovacic is out, which isn't great news, but we move into my predicted Chelsea starting 11, and we start off with Mr. Edouard Mendy. I kind of like the whole giving Kepa minutes and Kepa keeps keeping clean sheets. It was working well for me. I liked it, but at this stage in the season, when big games are coming through thick and fast every other day, there's a massive match that Chelsea are involved in, I wouldn't tinker with it too much. I think Kepa will start the FA Cup final, and I think there won't be many more minutes for him in the Premier League games unless we see a huge fallout from Edouard Mendy either today, touch wood, bangs the table, hopefully we don't, but unless Mendy slips up, I don't really see any way that Kepa gets back into the team apart from in that FA Cup final against Leicester City. We move into a back three. Unfortunately, there is no Toni Rudiger, which is a big shame because he's been absolutely monumental for Chelsea at the back in recent weeks. But that being said, we still have an incredibly strong back line. I've gone with Azpilicueta, Christensen and Zuma, resting Thiago Silva because we know that sometimes he does pick up these little injuries that keep him out, and with Real Madrid coming up, we need Thiago Silva fit and ready for that game. So Christensen back in his favoured central position. I think recently we've really seen that Christensen is incredibly competent all the way across that back three. Initially, I thought he was going to struggle when he wasn't deployed in the central position. The central position is still his best. He goes there. Zuma can naturally fit in the left centre-back position. Azpi on the right-hand side, which enables us to go with a wing-back. And I was thinking about putting Callum Hudson-Odoi back in the wing-back role. However, we've not been seeing Reece James start games recently. And even though, you know, I'm not quite sold by the Azpi at wing-back thing, the more surprising thing is that Thomas Tuchel doesn't think that Reece James should be starting the matches, which I actually find a bit crazy because Chelsea creating chances, we don't create many of them, but one person who does is Reece James. So he comes back into the team today, and I've actually rested Ben Chilwell. There's a couple of key players that I've chosen to rest. Chilwell is one of them. Marcus Alonso comes in to replace him, and he's been more than good enough since Thomas Tuchel came in, and I think against Fulham he could do a job and get us a goal. So we move into a central midfield 2, And with no Matteo Kovacic and that Real Madrid game in mind, this was a very tough decision for me. But having watched Tuchel's press conference, and normally I record my videos just before the press conference, which is a really silly thing to do, but I've seen the press conference and it looks to me as though Billy Gilmour is in serious contention for a Premier League start. No disrespect to Fulham, I'm sure in this West London derby they're going to turn up and give us a good game, but they're not the strongest side in the league, and I think with that Real Madrid game, which is just unfathomably big, coming up on Wednesday night at the Bridge, Billy Gilmour to start, and I've put him alongside Jorginho. When I think about who is the most important between Jorginho and Kante, I choose Kante, and I think if Chelsea, they're going to have one mind on making sure we don't get any injuries during this match today. It is absolutely pivotal that we don't get any injuries. We've still got to go out to win the game and try and perform, but I don't want to risk Kante. We've seen it at times this season where he gets a little injury, we miss him, and then we see what we miss when he's not in the side. And even though Jorginho is still a very key part of this Chelsea team, and particularly in that game against Real Madrid, I thought he was excellent. However, I think Jorginho is less susceptible to picking up an injury than that of N'Golo Kante. So Kante drops out to the bench, Jorginho starts in the middle with Gilmour. You could say it looks a little bit too defensive, but I think we could deploy Billy Gilmour with a bit more freedom, similar to that of what N'Golo Kante's been doing in recent games, particularly against Real Madrid, where he ran the show through the middle and ran Real Madrid's defensive midfielders ragged. I want to see Billy Gilmour do exactly the same for Chelsea against Fulham in today's Premier League game. We move into a front three. And again, this one changes minute by minute in my head. I'm sat here wondering to myself, like, do we rest Mason Mount? But then I'm also like, no, we've got to win this Premier League game. And Mason Mount, in my humble opinion, is Chelsea's best player. So for that reason, Mason Mount stays in the team. I just cannot find justifiable excuses to drop him. And well, it's not even dropping, it's resting him. I still can't find a reason to do so. And I move into the other two players, and I think Christian Pulisic will be rested for this game, rightly so. He was brilliant against Real Madrid. He'll be rested. So I think Kai Havertz comes back into the starting 11, and I'm putting Tammy Abraham up front. I thoroughly believe he deserves it, and I think a team like Fulham could be the perfect opportunity for Tammy Abraham to not reinvent himself again, but to really show Thomas Tuchel that in a busy business end of the season where Chelsea have got FA Cup finals, Champions League semis, potential cup finals in Europe, Tammy Abraham deserves a chance to be given a shot to show why he should be starting in that striker's role over Timo Werner. So Kai Havertz playing alongside him. I think those two have actually linked up together this season very well. No place in the team for Hakim Ziyech today. He's on the bench. It was between Havertz and Ziyech, and then I thought about the Havertz-Abraham link-up that we have seen this season at times, and I just thought Havertz and Tammy can be my two attackers. So, my starting 11 is up on the screen for all of you guys to see now. Let me know what you think of it. Do you think I've rested the right players? Obviously, considering the game is probably not going to be as easy as the table suggests, the fact that we've got that much quality resting on the bench, waiting to come on and penetrate and hurt Fulham's defence, it definitely bodes well. Chelsea should definitely be winning this game. We've dropped too many points at home recently. Brighton, West Brom. We win both of those matches and we're sitting very pretty in the top four, and we've got to fix this home form. We cannot let it continue, and we need a win. And I personally want a big win. I think we could win today 3-0. That is my score prediction. Marcus Alonso to score, Tammy Abraham to score, and Mason Mount to also score. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching my preview. 6 things we learn. I'm hoping it will be out straight after the game. It's another awkward one. It's at 12:30 at night. I've got to try and stay awake for the game and then get the video done afterwards. I will try my very best. If not, it will be out first thing in the morning for all of you guys back at home. But anyway, thank you again. Come on, you Blues. Let's get the 3 points.